Do you want to increase your fertility? Do you have PCOS? And not only do you want to get pregnant, but you also want to feel healthy in your body? If that's you, then welcome to the PCOS Fertility Health Podcast. Hi, I'm Dr. Angela Potter, an integrative fertility doctor, and I'm here to share with you the tools and strategies that you need to turn around irregular cycles and get the best chance at getting pregnant when you have PCOS. Let's go. Clearly, there is something that's keeping you stuck. Am I right? You've been trying to conceive for a few years now, and you still have irregular cycles. Your ovulation is unpredictable at best. And what is that one thing that's keeping you stuck? I mean, you've been to multiple doctors. They don't manage your care plan. They don't even give you a plan at all. They just will refer you to another doctor. And here you are, you really want to get pregnant, and yet you don't know how to put those pieces together. What is that missing link that's making you stay stuck and all these other women out there be able to get pregnant? Well, we're going to talk about that today, which is why I am super excited that you're here. And before we get into it, I want to acknowledge that you are showing up here today to support your health, that you are committed to making changes. You know deep inside that your body is able to turn around your PCOS symptoms, and you are able to get to a place where your fertility is optimal and you're able to make a baby. And I acknowledge you for just showing up here today, because you taking the time to show up here today speaks very highly of your commitment to your health and of who you are as a person. Before we get into the big missing link that is missing from your fertility plan, I wanted to read some very kind words that somebody shared publicly recently. And here they are. Dr. Potter is an amazing human being. Her passion for finding the right solution to your PCOS troubles are truly unmatched. Throughout my fertility journey, starting with my local doctor not believing that diet or lifestyle could impact PCOS, and up to me implementing my extensive internet research on my own, pregnancy had evaded me and my husband for the last 11 years. After finding Dr. Potter through her podcast, I reached out as a birthday present to myself. I'm so glad I did. Tired of not getting the results we were after, Dr. Potter was able to tailor a specific plan to tackle my version of PCOS. Within a matter of weeks, I had started to see improvements in my weight, my acne, and my monthly cycle. I was actually having one. Her program is priceless. After 4 months, we got that big old plus sign. So grateful and excited for this next chapter of our lives. This would not be possible if it wasn't for Dr. Potter. Thank you so much for all you have done for me and my now growing family. Oh, wow. Reading those out loud is just really special because this person, I know that their journey and how incredible to be with them and supporting them. They just didn't know how to put those pieces together. And as she went through that PCOS fertility protocol with me, she was able to get pregnant. So exciting. So let's get into what is this one big missing link in your fertility plan, because you want to have a success story like the one that I just read, right? You want to be here on the podcast and me reading your words of how you were able to get pregnant. And so what is it, and this one missing link was something that person had missing in her fertility plan. And we got it dialed in. We turned that around for her, that one missing link that we are going to talk about today. And that is a possibility for you too. So what is that link? Let's just jump right into it. That missing link is an individualized fertility plan. Now, it's simple to say, but it is powerful. And the reason that it is currently keeping you from getting pregnant, there are some big reasons for that. So let's unpack this a little bit. So we know now that an individualized fertility plan is the big missing link. But why is that so important? Well, here's the thing. Here's what a typical fertility plan looks like. I'm guessing this sounds familiar to you. So you go in, you talk to your doctor, they might put you on metformin, but they most likely will start you on a medicated cycle. They put you on a total of 5 medicated cycles, some of them with timed intercourse, others with IUI. And if none of those medicated cycles work, then they just refer you forward to IVF. Maybe you have got some testing done and they found something going on with your thyroid, so they referred you to an endocrinologist. You've now seen your PCP, your endocrinologist, you've been to a fertility specialist, and now you've got a consult ready for an IVF clinic. And you're seeing all these specialists, but no one is really managing your care. Everyone is just referring you forward or only managing that one small piece. Like your endocrinologist is only looking at your thyroid and not talking about this full fertility picture. So does that sound familiar to you? Yes, you've been trying to get pregnant for the past 11 years, maybe 6 years, maybe 7 years. But this is the kind of plan that you've been on. I work with some women who really pride themselves on the research that they do. And they come and talk to me in that PCOS fertility breakthrough session and they say, I feel like I'm trying everything. I am on supplements and I've done this research and I'm taking a lot of things. Even for people like that, maybe that sounds really familiar to you. You've got a list of supplements already. You're committed to making changes naturally on your own. And you're thinking, gosh, I'm just trying everything. Is there really something else that could be missing? Yes, there is. Because when you are researching online about PCOS and about fertility, that information is all generalized. There is no way that you can get a comprehensive fertility plan that is specific to your body's needs just by searching online. And honestly, you're not going to get it in this podcast. There is no way for one doctor to be able to tell you that without knowing your own story, without knowing all these different aspects of your health picture. That is why an individualized plan is the most necessary step in getting a fertility plan that works. So I'll explain this a little bit further. The reason that an individualized plan is so important, reason number one, is because PCOS is a syndrome. What a syndrome means is that it is made up of different symptoms to create this syndrome. So PCOS, in order to get diagnosed with PCOS, you need to fall into at least 2 out of 3 pieces of criteria in order to be diagnosed with PCOS. This means that the 2 pieces of criteria that you fall into are different from your friends, are different from anyone else who is listening to this podcast. And those different symptoms that create the PCOS diagnosis, those 3 pieces of criteria, those need a different treatment plan in order to turn those things around. So the 3 pieces of criteria are 1, having cysts on the ovary, 2, having elevated androgen hormones like testosterone, and 3, having ovulation issues. So if you have cysts on your ovaries and ovulation issues, but you don't have elevated testosterone, you do not need a plan that lowers testosterone, that helps your androgen hormones. You don't need that. And so do you see that you could not use the same plan as your friend or as somebody else listening to this podcast who has PCOS and expect the same results? It's not possible. And for me as a doctor, I would be giving you a huge disservice if I told you there is one path forward for everyone who has PCOS who is trying to get pregnant and increase their fertility. I have been working with PCOS for a decade. That would be an incredible disservice to you. And yet it is happening day in and day out because that typical fertility plan That's kind of that underlying push is to say this one path forward is going to help everyone with PCOS. This medicated cycle after medicated cycle is the answer for PCOS. And truly, I mean, this is a fertility algorithm from my perspective on the medical side. When I do research for, okay, PCOS and fertility, these are the steps forward that is recommended. It's just medicated cycle after medicated cycle. Now, it's not that those cycles are bad. It's not that it's bad to be using medications with those cycles, not at all. They are just being used at the wrong time in the fertility process. Because if you haven't yet gotten individualized plan, have a doctor with their eyes on your specific needs, and you just jump forward to a medicated plan, a medicated cycle, and yet you still have blood sugar issues and your thyroid issues, and you're not sleeping, and you've got huge amounts of anxiety, and that stuff is not taken care of, and you're just marching forward on this predetermined plan for fertility, do you see how that does not set you up for optimal pregnancy success? Those medications, even though they are extremely helpful in certain situations, and I'm talking about IVF here too, right? IVF is not the gold standard of getting pregnant when you have PCOS. And it's also not a bad thing. It could be really helpful. But IVF and medicated cycles, those do not solve every issue that's creating fertility struggles in your body. So those medications or the IVF procedure, they are not lowering blood sugar levels to help with ovulation. They are not improving your thyroid health. They are not lowering thyroid antibodies that could very well be happening for you. They don't happen for everyone with PCOS, but it's the number one most common other issue that I see women come in with. They aren't doing anything for your thyroid. Those medications are not helping with your sleep, to help with your circadian rhythm, to help increase your progesterone. They aren't doing anything for your progesterone. So you could go into a medicated cycle, you could go in for IVF and an egg transfer and not have any progesterone on board. And so your chances of success with either of those are little to none. But because you haven't had an individualized fertility plan that addresses that low progesterone, you're going into that with a very low chance of it being successful. Having an individualized fertility plan will open up the best chances of getting pregnant for you because you will have a concrete set of information of why you haven't been able to get pregnant yet. Okay. A doctor who is trained in getting to the root cause of your fertility struggles, like I am, we know the set of labs that needs to happen for us to get a clear picture of what is it? What is that hormone that's elevated or too low that's keeping you stuck? What are those deficiencies, those nutrient deficiencies that just keep going undiagnosed that are keeping your ovulation low, that's keeping your egg quality low, that's keeping you from being able to get pregnant? So you will have that concrete set of information and you will have a doctor working with you who is looking at your body holistically. Now, maybe they can't treat every single thing. There's a possibility that you still will need to go see a specialist, but you will at least have this provider who is able to help you with management of your care, who is able to look at your individualized needs, to talk to you about sleep, to really look at nutrition, to be able to give you meal plans and recipes, to talk about anxiety and how to support anxiety in order to then support your reproductive hormones like progesterone and estrogen, to look at what your hormones are doing and how to create a plan for you so that your hormones are doing what they're supposed to be doing in order to set you up for pregnancy. That is what an individualized plan does. And do you see how that sets you up for success? Now, an individualized plan and getting to the root cause of your fertility struggles, that does not exclude you from needing fertility medications. Certainly, I have worked with plenty of women who do get pregnant naturally once they get a plan in place that's addressing their needs. But not everyone. And sometimes medications, a medicated cycle, or sometimes IVF are a necessary part of the pregnancy process. But when you have this foundation for your body and your hormones are supported and you are going into that medicated cycle or that IVF cycle with the right amount of progesterone, your testosterone is low, your blood sugar is regulated. When you go in with your body all set up like that, do you see how that sets you up for even more success? Just imagine what possibilities can open up for you when you are able to have a plan that's addressing what your body says that it needs. When you have a plan that is specific to your body, to your PCOS and your fertility, a plan that's different from everyone else who has different needs. Imagine the possibilities that will open up for you. Because if you are right now working on your fertility and trying to get pregnant when you have PCOS, and you are working with a doctor who is just moving you ahead on this conveyor belt of fertility, who is not taking the time to really discuss your individualized needs, then this is the missing link for your fertility. And when you are able to get an individualized plan that's specific to what your body needs, that's when things turn around. That's when your fertility starts opening up. That's when you get to a place where you feel healthy, where you know that you're supporting your body so that it's working as it's supposed to, and you know that your fertility is optimal. It is possible to get regular periods and to ovulate on your own when you have PCOS. I see this all the time in my practice, and women with PCOS are getting pregnant every single day. And you could very well be next. Hold on to that as you go forward today. If you want to support this podcast, you can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or simply share this episode with your friends. And as a reminder, the information on this podcast is just that. It's information, and it should not replace the medical advice that you are currently getting from your doctor. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you right back here next Wednesday.